Hi everybody, I'm James Harris, and this is my business partner, David Parnes. This is Rise Above the Ranks, the sister publication to readtheblueprint.com. Make sure if you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe today. Each week, we are going over a topic of conversation that will help elevate your business. And this week's topic is a really important one. It is earning the trust of your clients so that you can do repeat business with them. A very important topic.
Huge. Actually, there was a really interesting stat because we have a coach, right? Yeah. We're with Tom Ferry and Yvonne from Tom Ferry right now. And what they said to us is your database should generate you 60% of your new business.
Absolutely.
That's a stat right there.
Yep.
Do you know what that means?
It means if you're not following up with your clients, you're a schmuck.
And their repeat business.
Yep.
And the referrals that come from there. Your database is a gold mine.
Amen. And I think before even repeat clients, just being an ethical, honest, transparent human being as an agent with your clients will go a long way. I think the most important thing in our business is to say to your client, no, you shouldn't buy this property. Or no, I don't think that's a good idea. Or no, I think it's overpriced. Once your client sees you really and truly have their best interests at heart, you've won their trust. And trust in this business, in my opinion, is the single-handedly most important thing to have with your clients.
100%. Treat your clients like family.
100%.
Because your family probably would give you their business.
Yep.
Because, yeah, that's questionable. But the truth is, you treat them like your family, you're going to do right by them.
Yep. And by doing
if you like your family, that is.
You just have to be ethical. You'd be surprised how many unethical agents there are in this business.
Oh my God.
Basically look at this business as a short-term quick paycheck, not a long-term relationship that could last for 20 years and turn into 20, 30 referrals.
Totally.
If you focus on the short-term and making a quick buck, yeah, you might make a quick buck, but it's going to kick you in the arse a year, 2 years later, and then you've lost that client altogether.
Get used to doing business the right way, and then it will start to come naturally.
Absolutely. So, repeat clients. How do you stay consistent in following up with your network?
But that's a huge question because the more successful one becomes, the bigger their database of clients become. And you don't want people to fall away and not be followed up. So a CRM is really important to have that organized so that you are being held accountable to follow up with each and every one of your clients. That you can't afford to let people fall through the gaps. Just because you've closed a deal with them, they don't hear from you again. That's not a good look in itself.
So you've got a CRM, you've pulled all your contacts from your phone book into your CRM. Would you suggest 9 to 11 a.m., Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you go through that, you follow up with these people, you make sure you're staying front and center with these people. Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're outdoor knocking. How does a week look for a new agent?
Yeah, I think the structure is so important. And unless you do timetable it or calendar it, you're not going to hold yourself accountable enough, right? So the targets, you're absolutely right. Dedicate 2 hours a day on a Monday, right, to calling all of your clients. Well, not all of them, some of them. Or dedicate 2 hours each day, Monday through Friday, or Monday through Saturday, or even Sunday, 7 days. Make sure you are hitting up all of your past clients because they are absolutely imperative. And then go out and do your door knocking. Go out and do your business meetings. I don't know if you have a business partner or not. Sit down, strategize, talk about it. If you have a coach, make sure you're putting enough time to follow up on every single task your coach has given you for that week. But there shouldn't be any time during the entire work week that you shouldn't be doing something. And then you've got the weekends for open houses.
The key to your own success in this business is accountability. If you don't have accountability and hold yourself accountable, you're f***ed, in my opinion.
100%.
The other thing is, who's your biggest competitor? Mine is myself, right? You have to put yourself up against your own pressure and hold yourself accountable. And in doing so, that's staying front and center with your clientele, not letting a single person slip through the cracks. You can only do that through organization. You can only do that if you are going at 110% of your ability. Otherwise, guess what? Another agent's going to swoop in, take that client from you, and they've got every right to do so. You didn't follow up. You weren't on top of your shit. You gave them a reason to go to somebody else. Never give your client a reason to work with somebody else. Cross the T's, dot the I's, stay on top of it, remain ethical, never lie, tell your client no when you think it's a no. And I think for us, get on a human level with these people, you know. Don't try and be somebody you're not with your client. You may feel or think you have to act a certain way or behave a certain way to impress your client. Be yourself. Stay true to yourself. We've always done that. Just remain authentic. They're buying into you. The second you become someone else, they're no longer buying you. They're buying someone that's not you. We've always stayed true, I feel like, to ourselves, who we are, what we represent, where we come from, what we've learned. And I think our clients really respect and appreciate that.
I agree.
And I think the other thing is when a client asks you a question and you don't know the answer to it, what do you say?
I don't know, but I will find out.
Amen.
Don't make it up. And at the same time, you know, back to the point, it's like sometimes we think a client wants to hear something. And then you know, it's very tempting to give them that answer that you think they want to hear. Truth is, we don't have a clue what's going through in their mind. Yep. And the best position we can take is to be honest, be ourselves. It's like a friendship. If you're going to lie to your friend the whole time or give them answers they want to hear and people please, the friendship's probably not going to last that long, right? But if you're not afraid to be yourself and you have their interests at heart, truly, right, it's going to be a flourishing friendship. And I look at it the same principle with a client.
How many times in the beginning of our business industry, when we got started, somebody asked me a question and I made up the answer because I was nervous or didn't want to look like an idiot.
Can you tell the Backstreet story?
Yes.
Not the Backstreet Boys, the Backstreet story.
There's a Backstreet Boys story. But how many times in our business have we been in a situation where we've answered something, it's the wrong answer, and it's come back and bitten me in the ass?
And not just the wrong answer. It's like the client could be testing you as well.
For sure.
And then you give them an obviously wrong answer, they're not going to use you. The trust is broken.
Yep.
They have to trust you. And they're only going to get that trust. You're only going to build that trust by being authentic.
I agree.
Now talk about the Backstreet story.
So when we started in the industry, we had one client, so it was pretty hard to not follow up with her.
We never ended up selling our house either.
Her name was Janice, and I'll never forget it. We were selling her house, and she wanted to buy a property. And I used to, before I go and show a property, I would usually go and GPS all the properties around just so I didn't get lost when I was showing them. Anyway, I took this client out. I'll never forget it. And she was following behind me in a nice Jaguar X-Type, I think it was. And I forgot, I didn't have time to go and GPS all the properties before. And she's following me. And my GPS took me on the most bizarre route I've ever seen. I thought I was going completely to the wrong place. It was streets it took me to that I've never seen to this day ever again. And I'm sweating. And I remember looking in the mirror. I had sweat here and sweat here. I was so nervous. She's going to think I'm a f***ing idiot. I don't know what I'm doing. And we pull up to the house and I am a wreck. And she gets out the car and she looks at me. She goes, I've lived in LA 30 years. You really do know the back roads. And I said, yeah, I know. I was just trying to avoid the traffic. Truth is, I nearly died.
Hi, Janice.
I nearly died of nerves and anxiety just getting completely lost.
That was one of my favorites.
But even Janice, I didn't know my from my ear hole. But I stayed on top of her. We showed her house. We remained confident. We kept doing our thing. And that was all we could do at that time. And it goes back to just staying on top of your clients and showing them that you care, you're interested, you're going to see this through the finish line. People appreciate that you have their back no matter what. And in this business, you become a part of their family because buying a home is a really emotional thing. And it's usually the most expensive purchase of their lives. They want to see that you're vested, that you're involved, and that you're honest. And if you can do those things, you will be successful in this business.
100%.
Right?
Totally. And the follow-up, back to the follow-up again. If you don't follow up with them, remember, you sell them a house, they move into that house, they're getting mailers, they're getting door knocks, they're seeing social media, they're seeing Zillow, Trulia, different agents' names. I reckon on average, because it's such a competitive industry, every client that lives in a neighborhood, even the house I live in or your house, for example, you're going to see agent after agent trying to get your business.
Yep.
Now, if you drop the ball and you're not following up those people, they are going to forget about you. And they are going to go with another agent.
Couldn't agree with you more. So that leads us to this. Don't give your client a reason to go to another agent. Perfect. Amazing segment. Very important Very important topic of conversation. That's going to wrap up this segment, and we're going to move to questions, which I really like these questions. There's always a weird one here.
Question time.
Okay, from David. What do you think about Zillow, Opendoor, and all of the iBuying taking place right now? Bloody good question.
It's a great question, but the truth is, whatever anyone wants to say, this industry, real estate agency, is a very personal business.
Agreed.
So you could go and you could look online, you could go through one of those apps, Zillow, iBuying, whoever it is, they might give you an operator, right? But that operator is someone that is probably paying for that lead. They're going to assign that lead to someone who may or may not have your best interest at heart. The truth is, how often does the process really just start from when we match the property to that client?
Yeah.
And by the way, that's with our advice, whether it's good or not, because this is what we do all day long. But that's just the beginning. Right? We hold their hand through the process. We do the contract work with them. We explain every single thing. We go through the inspections with them. We advise them on their request for repairs. We make sure all the contracts are ironclad. It's a process. It's not something that could just be done with a click of a button. Yes, it can, but you're going to end up basically saving a penny and losing $1 as
Amen.
a client that's doing that.
I couldn't agree with you more. And look, Zillow and Opendoor, they're clearly successful companies. They're billion-dollar businesses. Yeah. They're going to continue to do well. It's definitely a front and center topic of conversation in our industry. But it goes back to what we've just been discussing. Don't give your client a reason to go elsewhere. Give them every single dollar value to want to work with you and not take it online. And that's the best we can do.
Simple as that.
But it is real and it is happening, and we should all continue to stay on top of it. Thank you, David. Great question. Sheila, question from you. Who is a better negotiator?
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? How do we do like a negotiation with each other?
We've done that for the last 25 years.
The truth is, my answer is we're actually... People think we're very similar, but we're also very different, right? So we have our own styles. I think James is incredible energy, charisma. Like he can really drive the point home, right? Like I'd buy probably ice from you even if I was an Eskimo, right? Yeah. But with me, I'm slightly more technical. I'll think it through a little bit more. But the truth is, they both come to the same outcome. 600 million of sales in a year growing to $1 billion.
Boom, baby. Amen. We're different. We got different styles. And I think that's the key to any business partnership. You have to, David can handle my weaknesses and please God, I can handle his. And you have to better each other and strengthen each other. But great question, Sheila.
We really handled that well, didn't we?
So that brings us to the end of another incredible segment. Again, this is Rise Above the Ranks, the sister publication to readtheblueprint.com. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so right now. Hope you enjoyed this segment, and we'll be bringing back tons of fresh content to you very soon. Thanks for tuning in.